woman, great is your faith. But who is Jesus talking to? A Canaanite woman, a woman who grew up as a non-believer, a woman part of a culture who is not considered to be the children of God, who worship demons, whose daughter herself is possessed by a demon. And it is to her that Jesus says this. But how? Well, it all starts with this woman who comes to Jesus and basically pleads with him, saying, Lord, Son of David, have pity on me. My daughter is tormented by a demon. Have pity on me. You know, she's asking for mercy because she didn't find it among the Jewish people who were so hardened, just like the Canaanites were so hardened against the Jewish people. Yeah, they didn't get along too well. So she's asking for mercy, for pity, for her daughter. And of course, the disciples are just shouting behind her, send her away, send her away. She's bothering us. She keeps calling out after us. And Jesus says, I was only sent to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Now, Jesus' apostles are thinking, oh good, he's telling her. But in reality, that's not what's going on. Because Jesus has defined and redefined the house of Israel. By choosing 12 apostles, he's reset the whole thing up. It's not based on the 12 tribes, on the sons of Jacob. It's based on something so much deeper. It's based on what Jesus is doing. It's not based on race, on culture. It's based on belief. And this woman is part of that house of Israel. Jesus is telling them that. And the woman picks us up and says, Lord, help me. And this is where he says something so amazing that quite frankly is very misunderstood. It is not right to take the food of the children and to throw it to the dogs. Now in English, this is a bad translation. Because yes, there was a phrase against the Canaanites that they were dogs. And it wasn't nice. But Jesus is saying puppies here. It is not right to give the food to the puppies. He's throwing this cultural racism on its head and saying that there's no place for this in the church and in faith. And the woman picks up on it and says, please, Lord, for even the puppies eat the scraps that fall from the table of their masters. And my brothers and sisters, this woman was so free, so believing, that she was able to see through these cultural slurs and see the amazing thing that Jesus was doing through her. And this is where Jesus tells her, O woman, great is your faith. Let it be done for you as you wish. And what was her wish? Her daughter was healed. My brothers and sisters, there's a couple of things going on here. First off, it's like the woman passed the test. But it's not a test as much she is mature enough. She is faithful enough, trusting enough to receive this gift from the Lord. But Jesus never actually says, your daughter is healed. No, it's the woman's desire that allows for that to happen. And how do we pray? How do we intercede to the Lord? What do we wish for? Because so often what we wish for is not truly worthy of our prayer and our encounter with Jesus. Now this gospel reading can really be only understood with the passages before, because Jesus is talking against the elders here in Matthew chapter 15. And he's saying how that we shouldn't worry so much about hand washing. We need to worry about the heart. And Jesus makes it very clear. It's not those things from without that defile, but things from within, from the heart. And this is where for each of us, it is very important that we live in such a way in our cultures to not allow those things from without to come within. And that we are faithful with the things that are material so that our hearts may be undefiled and free to trust and live the faith. And this is where too, the way we live in the church is so important because it's about the heart. But how often we are lazy and we just simplify things. We make quick looks and quick snap judgments and don't even realize what we're doing and completely miss the heart of one another and only look to external appearances. We only look to our quick experience. My brothers and sisters, this is the greatest mistake because this is where we truly miss out. You know, Mother Teresa, a saint, used to say that she would see Jesus most clearly in the poorest of the poor. And many of those poor were not Catholic, they were not Christian. but she saw Jesus in them. And this is where, too, for us, so often we find Jesus in the most unexpected places. We think from external appearances that these people are defiled, are bad, are not worthy of our time, when in reality, that is the greatest gift that Jesus wants to give to us, is that encounter with Him through them. And this is where, as we live our Catholic faith day in and day out, we need to have that time and take that time, that reverent time that Christ has given us, to go past our own snap judgments and to recognize the great faith around us. And that faith may not be a full Catholic faith yet. Maybe we're called to help them and walk with them. But to see Christ in one another, see Christ in their hearts, is so important. To see the good work that Christ is already doing and to be able to participate and to bring that forward, to magnify it, if you will, is the greatest honor that we can have in this life. But it really depends on what our definition of faith is. Is faith a country club of people who think and look and act like ourselves? Is faith only about my family and forget everybody else? Is faith about a set of beliefs, like a litmus test, that people have to pass in order to be worthy of my time? Or is faith, as it is defined in Latin, trust and action? Fide, trust and action. Do we trust Jesus enough to lead us and guide us in our encounters with one another? And do we have that trust to truly be vulnerable, to look to one another's hearts and know that they are seeing our hearts as well? Do we trust enough to know that the Lord will lead us right, even though things may not seem culturally couth? Do we have that kind of faith? My brothers and sisters, let us not squander these beautiful opportunities that Jesus gives to us to truly encounter Him and one another. It is so easy for us to pass by the Canaanite women of our day, when really they are the ones with great faith. Maybe not fully, maybe not in all metrics, but they have the trust, and they may have something to teach us as we have much to teach them. Magnificat anima mea Dominum. My soul magnifies the greatness of the Lord.